session going. All right. Well, hello. This is May 21st, right? And welcome to Neighboring 101. This is session number 82. Um, and this is the program where we talk with leaders in the neighboring movement from all across the United States and discover ways that organizations and individuals can use the art and skill of neighboring as part of community and personal development. And today we're really going to be talking about the art part because this is getting ready to be Show Me Neighborhood Art Month. And that's going to be our special focus today. We'll hear from some of the winners in 2025, and we'll hear from um, perhaps a few of you that are working on projects right now. We'll hear from field specialist in community development, Elena Stephenson, who's located in Independence, Missouri. And just give a little background on the program to get us going in a short slide presentation to show some of last year's winners. Um, Showing Neighborhood Art Month is a University of Missouri Extension art-focused program that promotes creativity and public art made by any resident as a contribution to a community's sense of place and a resident's sense of belonging. I think one of the most exciting things about the event is that it really reminds us that art does not only belong inside museums or galleries. Art can live right in the middle of everyday life, right in the middle of a neighborhood. It can be chalk on a driveway or painted rocks along a sidewalk, handmade sculptures in the front yard, murals in a neighborhood, any types of those things that we interact with on a regular basis. And I love seeing it out in public like that. The goal is really to make creativity visible, accessible, and community centered. Some of the artists joining us today are not only creators, they're really community builders. Their projects bring color and imagination and creativity into public spaces. And it reminds us really that creativity itself can strengthen the social fabric of a neighborhood and a community. Uh, do want to share this. This is on one of our founding documents when we started this program. The vision behind Show Me Neighborhood Art Month is simple. Uh, every Missourian can contribute, every Missourian can help create a strong sense of place. You do not have to be a professional artist to contribute beauty or meaning to your community. Every display, every creative effort adds character and connections to the places that we call home. And I think some of the variety we've already had submitted this year demonstrates that very well. Uh, just as a background here, I'm going to share from a PowerPoint. Um, Sorry, have to actually locate it. I believe this is it. Yes. And just go through real quickly as a kind of a reminder um, about the program that we now call Show Me Neighborhood Art Month and just some of the facts and the history of this. Um, we started out calling it Show Me Neighborhood Art Week. For those of you who have maybe participated in the past, no, you're not losing your mind. The name has changed slightly. In 2024, we had 73 total registered sites all across Missouri. In 2025, we had 68. And again, it's a month now because we did hear from some communities and participants saying we can't participate that first week in June. We always have something in the third week or something that's art related. So we really did that to try and capture more of those that were being inspired by the week and to give people a longer period of time to keep their art displayed. Uh, Many of you on this call are probably are registered, but if not, we would encourage you to go ahead and get registered, visit the extension.missouri.edu website or scan this QR code. You have until May 30th to get registered and create your art, display it outdoors for all of June. I was telling Deanna before we started recording, I've been working furiously on mine each night in the garage, had the blow dryer out last night trying to help the paint dry faster. So it's always despite my best intentions, it always seems to be a last minute rush to that deadline. And then once it's online, we'll have a map and everything that will feature and get people to vote on winners across the state. That's the goal again this year is to have regional winners and then some state winners as well. And we'll take a look. Here's the names and communities that won last year. We'll take a look at each one of these real quickly. A great variety of art from across the state. This was the West Central Regional winner from Hume, and Janine Costello worked with students to have this art created in Hume. Lovely piece, that regional winner. Northwest region up in Gatlin, Morgan Jeffers, and a community mural that youth in the community helped create. People's Choice Award was based on the votes that are tabulated through the website, and this was actually seven different barn quilts that were painted by the organizations that all call the Springfield Botanical Center home. Uh, Northeast region, Jane in Kirksville. She's a collector of all things recyclable and otherwise, and she had a lot of bowling balls on hand. Used those to make a peace sign in her yard. I think she's working on something this year with some other recycled materials, I understand. So love that. Urban West, Barb. I know Barb has made another entry this year. She's up in Lee's Summit. Again, kind of using recycled materials. These are solar lights. This little ladybug would in her garden would light up at night as well. So I've seen her entry this year, similar type of creativity. That was a regional winner. The Urban East region from Wentzville, the Crossroads Art Council, four different panels that make up a mural on the side of their building, inspired last year to get it in place in time for Show Me Neighborhood Art Week. Uh, the Yellow She Shack Mercantile, Amber Huckabee in Marquand, had a chance to meet her a few months ago and present the award in person. The mural is just as beautiful in person as it is in this picture, and she was uh, very excited about the recognition that went along with that. Well done. uh, Patterson, Janelle Patterson in Springfield. You know, I have dandelions in my yard, but not the size of problem that she had in this artistic rendering. Loved these pieces that she made and had a whole story or poem, I think, that went along uh, with them. The two together were really lovely done. The Judge's Choice Award also is in Wentzville. Uh, Take a painted rock, leave a painted rock at their location, Kindness Rocks. Um, I think the first year we had a community painted rock project that won one of the regional awards as well. We're kind of apparently we're softies for these types of things that involve lots of people uh, doing art together. And then the best of show last year was Marble Hill, and actually this is just a small sampling. I believe they had 20 entries from the town of Marble Hill all along Main Street. Different artists displayed their art in windows and a nice mural they got done in time as well. So great job, City of Marble Hill, for Show Me Neighborhood Art Week last year. If you haven't registered or you just want to follow along with the map this year, you'll find that on the Extension website, extension.missouri.edu. You can just use the search bar to search for Show Me Neighborhood Art and visit the website with all information and the link there to register as well. And Deanna maybe already mentioned the map that's created, and you can look at residential entries or commercial entries. You can zoom around the state, click on it to find the address so you could go by and see it in person, or once everybody has their pictures submitted, those pictures will pop up as well. Again, just trying to celebrate the diversity of creative art across Missouri and the artists that have done the work to help make our communities a better place, a stronger sense of place and belonging. And that's it real quickly. So, um, Well, lots of great examples from across the state. And hopefully some of you are already started on your art, or maybe this will inspire you to do more. Elena, can I pick on you first?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You, your title's community development specialist, but you're certainly all things artistic when it comes to extension. And I know you've looked a lot at sense of place, uh, efforts, and belonging. Just can you share with us how art contributes to that? Kind of maybe what your take is
Absolutely.
on the importance of some of this.
Yeah, I think when we talk about placemaking too, and there's a big conference coming up in Wisconsin, Pursuit of Place, that explores not just creative placemaking, but place knowing, place keeping, just this idea of what does place represent in a community. But when we're talking about creative placemaking, which is really what a lot of Show Me Neighborhood Art Month is neighbors are being creative placemakers, which is pretty exciting. They're contributing to their community. But when you think about mural projects, which we've done quite a few in Urban West, and one project we're about to launch is a mosaic in Kessler Park, which we're gonna um,
Oh,
register for this. So yeah, it is a community mosaic too. Um, that is educational, informing folks. Not only is it a photo op, moment, hopefully installed during the World Cup or around the time so folks can gather and take a picture by it. But it's also educational, informing neighbors like what does this park represent? Like what is in this park? What should you explore when you're here? And I think when we have these kinds of art projects like murals, um, and creative placemaking, folks have a sense of pride in their community. But what's unique about like this community mosaic, or we did a mural in Inglewood at Inglewood Arts and Inglewood Independence, um, is when folks get to participate in it, it automatically like promotes the sense of belonging of like when you walk by that mural or you walk by a mosaic or a piece of art and you know that you contributed to it, it just promotes a sense of well-being too of like I'm proud to be in this community and I belong here. I contributed to that. And then it's twofold too when you think about just the mindfulness practice of making art, like just the we're about to launch like a an arts and health asset research study with Arts KC. There's just so much research out there now about what art helps us with from a holistic health standpoint, and just like it
hmm.
can lower cortisol, it can just it can repair like trauma damage to the brain, like it um just the holistic health benefits of making art. So I think it's a twofold thing where not only do neighbors and community members feel a sense of belonging, but their well-being and vitality is also being boosted by participating in making art from a community standpoint.
Hmm. I hadn't heard some of that before. I have to confess, I don't feel like my cortisone levels have decreased when I'm racing to meet a deadline.
Yeah,
But
yes, yes, that's true. Yeah. Yes,
but certainly the creative process and thinking
yes.
about that, I can certainly see how that could be the case. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think the practice of it, like when you're actually engaging in making art, like lowers stress. But I think that's a real thing too for creatives, sometimes having those deadlines or like you can freeze a little bit, like or procrastinate or
Uh,
like I need to meet this, but when you're actually practicing it, like there's just a lot of health benefits to that. So,
yeah. At I know I've had chance to in the past to create art with the neighbors. Different ones did their own barn quilts, but we all got together and did it at the same time. And um, I found that experience to be different than like a block party or something. The barn quilts took quite a while, so we had a lot of time to talk, but it just leads to other types of conversations. And there's certainly a connectivity when people walk by and say, "Hey, I had a hand in that," right?
mhm, mhm.
Ongoing. I was in Chillicothe a couple of weeks ago. They don't have an entry this year, but wow, they have a lot of murals in that town. And several different people talk about, oh, I got to help on that one, and really proud of what they have going on there. Well, it really is about hearing from participants today, those who were uh, winners in the past and or maybe working on things this year. We want to hear some of your creative stories, maybe what inspired you, and a little something about the creative process, maybe the story behind your installation. Um, and then Elena may jump in here as well as we go. I'm looking to see who. I think I saw Janelle Patterson on here. Is that right? Can I call her out? Is she still on?
Yep. Hi.
Hi. Yes, you. Oh, well, I would expect you to be in an artistic studio like this.
That's
You
where I work.
working on something probably right now. Hey, congratulations again on being one of the regional winners last year, and
Thank
just
you.
it was certainly a unique piece and fun to see. Kind of what goes into your with something like that, your creative process, maybe. Or what inspired that piece last year with the dandelions, maybe any story that you might have about how it helped with community connections, if there are any of those types of stories.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been participating in this since the very beginning, since 2020 when it was lawn. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so I got started kind of in the beginning of that, and I was so excited when it got picked up and was able to has been able to continue, and now that it's expanded, so it's really been a fun, engaging process, especially here for me. So I'm a professional artist, so I do this all the time. But this is how I make a living. So this is my business. So this is always such a freeing project for me because I don't have to focus on all of the aspects of the business that I'm usually working on. And I get to kind of just do something for fun. And since it goes in my yard, it's something that I have many times been able to talk to my neighbors about. I've met a lot of people through just, the weird things that I've been putting out in front of our house for several years now. We have a school, our elementary school is just a few houses down. So the car line goes past our house. And so we've been able to talk to a lot of people over the years about, each year I kind of pick a theme for what it's going to be, something that hopefully is just inspiring. And yeah, so it's given me a chance to just kind of do something that's for fun and engagement, just, physical and relational engagement, as opposed to something that's more of my maybe more focused kind of business work.
Yeah. All right. Can you pull back the curtain and give a hint about what you're doing this year?
Absolutely. Actually, yeah. So this year is going to be a little bit different, and so it's actually out in our yard right now, but it's not finished yet. So this year is going to be fully collaborative. Usually, because I am a painter, it's something where I'm kind of showing, my skills, and I'm kind of talking to people and showing them what something that I've done. But this year is going to be collaborative. So we have an event tomorrow and Saturday where we're inviting our neighbors, we've invited family, friends, that kind of thing to come help us paint the piece. So it's
Oh,
going to be filled with handprints. So it's all on just community and collaboration and neighborliness. And so we're inviting people to come just, actually be in person with one another and engage right here and get to meet each other and try to hopefully fill our piece with colorful handprints this year.
that's fantastic. How
Yeah, I'm
unique.
really excited.
How unique and personal with those handprints. That's a wonderful idea.
Thanks.
Had,
Hopefully we have all the people we need to fill it up. So
uh, gosh, I don't know what my schedule looks like. I'd almost drive in to get to do that. Let's see. But I love that idea, and thank you for participating in the past
absolutely.
um, and continuing forward with this and being an inspiration to others with your creativity
Thank
as
you.
well. Very good. Um, let's see who else has able to join us today. I know some others had expressed interest. If you participated last year, feel free to jump in, or I will continue to look through names here. Let's see. Uh, is Barb on with us? I don't see Barb. Elena, you can always fill in anytime you want. Let me see. As I'm looking through names. You mentioned the mosaic you're working on. Are you working on any other things, Elena?
Not individually, but yeah, this is a community. So this idea came from Uh, I'm on the board for the Kessler Park Conservancy, and a lot of neighbors are on this board. But the proposal came from an art teacher in the community that has done a lot of mosaics, and she did a presentation at one of our board meetings, and we loved the idea and the timeline. I was like, we have to enter this and show me Neighborhood Art Month. But I think what I love a lot of things about this program. I feel like it's a very successful statewide program. It's really, like Dina's been working on the map. It's really exciting to see everyone contribute across the state. And I think some highlights too are just the variety of art that gets registered, the variety of art that gets entered, and this idea that it's multiple kinds of skill levels. It could be, established artists or someone that's like, I want to try this medium out, and here's an opportunity to work with my neighbors or to have some art in my yard, in my lawn, and it's been lovely in the past couple of years to see what gets produced. And like, yes, we get murals, but we get barn quilts, we get sculptures made from pieces of nature. Like just how people interpret art or like their own creativity is really,
Hmm.
it's been really lovely to see. And it's fun to hand deliver the awards too. Like I got to do that last year in Lee's Summit, and I got to meet the artist and her partner and her husband and see their studio, and they just were so excited that they won. And it was just it's that sense of like personal connection too, as well. And I think it goes back to like community and belonging. Like it gives folks a reason to play and also connect with other people.
We would giving the awards is a fun part, and we did awards last year. There were hand blown glass serve awards. Would love to be able to show up with like a big check at the same time too. To recognize the effort and support artists in that way. We're not quite there yet, but we want to do these other types of things to recognize the effort that has gone into it. And I've had a few people this year, that have reached out that have specifically planned things in order to meet the deadline to be able to be part of this. So that's exciting to see that as well. Amanda Lovell, did I see Amanda on here earlier? Uh, I know she had was going to share. Uh, Janine Castillo out of Hume. All right. Well, life happens sometimes during the noon hour, I guess, doesn't it? Am I missing someone who was an award winner last year that had said they would be able to join us?
David, this is Crystal and Lee Summit. We didn't
Hi,
win,
Crystal.
but I will say it. I know to some people I've talked to, it's a little intimidating for people to get started. And I just wanted to share, we did the most low effort thing ever, and it ended up being so much fun. The first week in June is one of our largest attraction festivals here in Lee Summit. We have 90,000 visitors. And
Really?
so, but we so wanted to participate. We literally bought buckets of chalk. We have a large downtown parking garage, and we had just we're installing a beautiful mural in one of the stairways to go to a new project that was going to open in a few months last year. But the main stairwell is ugly and gray and nasty. So we made big posters and put buckets of chalk out every day through that whole week of the festival and had visitors and residents just draw beautiful pictures and write happy messages to each other. I mean, the most low effort. There's some amazing artists out there that do beautiful things. And then there was my hot dog slash dog, which wasn't supposed to be either, but that's what it looked like. So it just was a lot of fun to see this self-regulated, self-invited art project happen with 90,000 people. And we only had one instance of something that we had to take a little editorial license to remove. And it was, just some middle school humor. And so it was a really fun thing to do. And we got lots of social media buzz for it. People just thinking that was such a fun way. Some people used it to get their kids back to the car when they were ready to leave the festival. They told them they could go draw on the wall. So it was nice. So it doesn't have to be, all of the winners are such beautiful and intensive investments, but it doesn't have to be. You can start really simple, just getting people together to make a space more beautiful and have purpose. A stairwell is pretty utilitarian.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I did I had kind of forgotten about that, but then when you started that, I remember you guys doing that in the parking garage, which I thought was a pretty clever idea. It's a lot easier to do chalk art on concrete than it is on asphalt trails or roads. It's pretty hard to draw on.
We did learn our lesson to use the washable chalk, though. My maintenance crew spent quite a bit of time power washing the next week.
I didn't know that some were easier to get off than others. So,
Me either. Chalk's come a long way since I had small kids, so.
are you doing something similar this year? Is that the plan?
Um, to be determined. For David, we're always doing something. We just never know what it is till we do it.
Well, that's okay too, you know.
We have so many folks that want to do things this year. It's just been an unusual season for us with a big budget issue, and so we it kind of snuck up on us. But we don't want to let everybody down because they had so much fun last year. So we've got our cultural commission working on it.
Yeah.
We
Well,
have
that's excellent.
one more week to the deadline. We'll figure it out.
And that's great that you have a commission kind of organized around that theme. It's obviously in Lee's Summit, it's not just a one and done type of thing to do uh, art and cultural events.
So we're very lucky, and we've had lots of art pieces, and we've added a bunch of murals this year, just not in the month of June. So we'll try
Well,
to.
you know, anything that is done during from July 1 to June 30th is
Oh,
eligible to be entered.
I didn't know that. Well, we'll have lots of entries then.
Yeah. So has the city or that cultural commission like commissioned organize some additional murals?
We have, so we added last year, we added a new facility, and the front of that facility, we did a massive three-panel digital mural that has just a cartoon version history of the community. We did a mural in the stairwell, all done by regional professional artists, but all with input into the design in the local community. We have another digital mural that's coming, hopefully in the middle of June. We're just trying to cover some of our big wall spaces, but we have a lot of brick, which can't be painted easily. So we're looking at new ways to do that. But next year we're gonna have a really great interactive project, which actually need to reach out to Elena about to get some guidance on, because Sylvia and I know that she knows how to do what we want to do, and we don't know how to do it. We just know what we want to happen, and so we need her help.
Yes, email me. You should still have my contact info, right,
Thank you.
Crystal? Because
Yes.
and GK and I, not to get totally off topic,
Sorry.
we still are interested in working on Lisa with asset mapping, like we've talked
Yes.
about before. So yeah, please shoot me an email, and I am happy
And
to answer
thanks for
questions.
letting me share. I just want to say it doesn't, sometimes you can
Absolutely.
just come in at the most basic level and still be a part of making something special.
Absolutely. Well, those are great examples, and so glad to hear about the murals and things that are taking off in Lee's Summit as well. Great examples. I was just thinking as you were saying that, you know, some submissions are, uh, if this will come up, yeah, it can be professional. Sometimes it's just, I know this was in Springfield, and they got in in the heart of the West Side neighborhood, and they got some permission to paint flowers on these medians through the main part of their neighborhood there. It can be something as simple as that. I mean, they had a great time getting together um, and working on something like that together. I'm tr trying to think of some of the other uh, skill levels because they came from all different walks of life, some professional and some people that take their craft that they really enjoy doing and sometimes keep it hidden, but decide to do it in their front yard instead, so uh, others could see. What about others? What do you have planned this year? We'd love to hear. Anyone, is Nick on from Marble Hill or anyone else from Marble Hill? Well, I know calendars can get full, but Marble Hill certainly participate at a high level as a neighborhood. And I think that was kind of what was unique about them. They got so many different artists involved, uh, decorating in these old buildings across Main Street, but a variety of neighborhoods. All right. Other examples, if you've not participated in the past and you're not one of the award winners that had indicated you could join us today, maybe you're someone who's working on a project this year. We'd love to hear about what your inspiration is and what has gone into your creative process. Feel free to take yourself off mute and jump in. And a hush fell over the crowd. Uh, Mary Masterson, did Mary make it on today? No. Okay. Um, let me just share briefly a little bit because this is people that aren't just involved in Missouri um, that are on the call here today. And I know that Midland, Michigan has a very active public art program each summer, similar to this. Uh, in Midland, they have chosen to pick a theme each year, and they have a local community foundation that funds an object that becomes what everyone is going to paint or do their creation on. Last year, they did uh, benches that were placed like at bus stops and in parks and things like that. So everyone got the same uh, wooden constructed bench, but they could paint it, decorate it differently, and then they were all displayed during the same month. That's how they handled their public art. So that's certainly one direction a community could take. Something similar to that has happened in Springfield, Missouri, uh, this year with Route 66. Uh, Roanoke, Virginia has a different take. They've kind of had a contest among the neighborhood associations there to come up with a big creative piece, not a float in a parade, but some sort of installed piece of art in that particular neighborhood. So different types of approaches. Maybe some of you have seen something similar in your community. We'd love for you to share that with us if that has been the case. We'd love to hear some additional examples. Anyone? This is the audience participation time. Other examples or questions?
Hey,
No.
David.
Yes.
This is
Is this
Emma.
Emma Alexander? Hello, Emma.
This is Emma, live from work, David.
Good to have you. You have a piece entered this year.
We do. So I have filled out the registration for our Mighty Eagles 4-H club.
Oh,
We're kind of down to the wire because when you're getting a group of people together, schedules don't always align. So we look forward to an art making meeting on the 31st, and then we'll get those pictures to everybody. There's a couple of really neat things that come out of this. So obviously this is a togetherness thing, and when I was reading about it and saw the dates, I'm like, well, here's a good way for the kids to extend their community involvement into the summer, but they can still be gone to summer camp at the same time, right?
yeah.
Um, we also are partnering with the proprietors at Turner's Station out at Turner's, Missouri. So that's going to be the location for our artwork because they have a great crowd of people down there. There's always people down there checking things out. But it's really neat to have the support of a business like that. She was really interested in the prospect of the show me art, but they're not artists themselves. And so now we're partners and they're supporting our kids and it's going to be beautiful. Overall, it's just great to have. I feel like the palette of opportunities through extension is so much broader than it was when I was a 4-H'er myself. And so not only do we have our 4-H'ers and our traditional programming as an arm of extension, but there's all these other things that we can circle back through the same ecosystem and build more networks and teach our kids how to connect the dots to where they're not just in a 4-H ecosystem, they can be
Mm.
in an extension ecosystem and meet neighborhoods and other branches and add that to their arsenal of skills that we are teaching them as they're growing up. So this is going to be really fun to participate in a community wide, statewide visibility effort. So appreciate all the work that's gone into that.
Yeah, what a great location to have that installation. Love to be able to have a counter to know the number of eyeballs that are going to see that project when you have that up.
Yeah.
It would
It's
be
our
a
first
lot.
it's our first endeavor, right? And we are definitely working with amateurs, some who proclaim to be artists and some who absolutely don't, but they're all team players. So it's going to be interesting to see what pops out this year.
And love to hear that it's another interactive piece then. Well, while some of the others are online still, maybe again representing uh, other areas, other communities and stuff, do you have questions about this project or even questions you'd like to ask of Elena in regards to artistic or Janelle while she is on as well? Please come off mic and ask or type something up in chat. Questions about public art projects, especially as it relates to neighborhoods. Everyone can talk at once. Well, I guess everyone is very comfortable with this idea and they're ready to get creative. That's how I'm interpreting this. Ready to get going. Elaine, I am going to ask you then. Uh, Everybody may have a different opinion on this. What's your preferred medium for some sort of outdoor type of art? I think today we've already heard chalk.
Yeah.
We've heard paint. I don't know. Do you have a favorite?
I I am gonna say murals, though I am intrigued about this mosaic work we're gonna do. Um, just from the sense of aesthetically, it's really engaging, but also like a lot of times mosaic artists will use sustainable materials, so that component of it is
Mm,
interesting, like reuse tiles and things like that. So the sustainability element of that is really interesting. We haven't talked about this as a team or a committee, so I hesitate to say it, but my brain went there in this meeting or opening up the floor to performing arts, like down the road. Like could like a poetry open mic register for Show Me Neighborhood Art Month? Like could we expand it more to not just visual art, but like performing art too? Something to think about as this continues and grows. Um, Too is because my background, I have a background in theater and I do poetry, and yeah, like could performance fall in this? So
mm.
something to think about. But like how would we catalog it in the map? There's a lot of question marks and things, but like could performances register for this? So something to think about.
Well, we'll have to think about that.
Yeah,
We've had a few that have mixed their art installation with a story that went along with
right.
it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the interdisciplinary.
Which was a great combination. Um, what you mentioned paintings and murals. Um, any recommendations, preferred products that help those last longer when they're outdoors? Um, some of my paintings have faded pretty quickly on me, and I'm not sure. I
There's
must be
been
using the
a
wrong product.
yeah, that would be a good GK question too, like quality of paint and all of that. But there has been a movement of like vinyl murals too, like that last a lot longer. And they're not as cost effective, but like printing a mural and putting it on a wall, like that is talked about too in this kind of work. Like Inglewood Arts has a huge one right at the front door that they have. So that helps with like kind of durability, but because it does eventually fade. We do have two murals, so it's been 2 years now that the Sherman and Anderson mural's been up at Inglewood, and it's still in really good shape. We installed the postcard mural in downtown Parkville last summer, but there is like eventually over time there's wear and tear, and you see that more too with asphalt murals, which I love and think are really interesting, but like um, they wear a lot faster because you're having traffic over them. But I
Sure.
love asphalt murals, and when you see them from like a bird's eye view standpoint too, they're yeah.
They're very creative. I
Hmm.
see in chat that Christy says I'm doing yarn this year wrapped around the trees. Christy,
Yeah.
have you entered before? I think we had something like that a couple of years ago. Yeah, okay, you did it last year. You did it last year, and I remember the um, some of the really colorful examples of that. Maybe oh, there's a screenshot of the yarn work around trees, which was colorful. So yeah, I mean, wow, we've got all the mediums covered here. It sounds like paint and chalk and yarn and everything in between. Well, I'm sorry that some of our artists, I think, have had end up with some conflicts today and were not able to join us. Again, we had some great winners last year, and we wanted to celebrate those and maybe bring encouragement through their stories to the rest of you. But I don't want to belabor the topic either. Any other questions or um, story of what you're working on right now that anyone would like to share? Well, if not, I'll just say that we're looking forward to our total reported participants this year. Again, I think we're up close to 50, but we'd love to be up to 75 or so again when all is said and done. And then not just to have those registrations in, but to have that map in place that you all can uh, share widely and get people out looking at this art and interacting with it and encouraging artists as well, and then being able to recognize some of it as the best examples around the state of Missouri. So if you have any other questions about how we've organized this in Missouri, feel free to email or contact me or Elena, either one, and we'd be glad to share our notes and materials, I'm sure. Uh, and if you're in Missouri and you're still working on your art, uh, uh, when you meet that deadline, send us a picture so we can include it on the map. And if you've not started on something yet, well, then what's holding you up? Get started, get registered, and we'd love to be able to showcase your creativity. Elena, anything else before we end from you?
Um, I don't think so. I'm excited to see what folks come up with this year. Every year it's a delight to see across the state.
Absolutely.
It's yeah.
I'll
Absolutely.
jump in and just encourage everyone to go visit the map and
Hmm.
keep going back to visit the map because as the art entries come in, I'll be populating them on there and they're fun to look at. So click on the little icons that look like paint palettes because those are the ones where the art is already there.
Yeah. So when it's in place on June 1, we'll have an additional link that you can use to vote on a favorite too. We always do a People's Choice Award, and that's based on the votes and then the regional awards that kind of come from the specialists that make up the team and input from some others as well. And um, okay, I'm getting okay. Thank you in the chat there, and thank you for joining us today. And we'll go ahead and conclude this session of Neighboring 101.